Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I don't believe anybody's anybody's awake yet except me. I'm hoping that my volume is working. I hope that my mic is working, and I hope that I can fix some wires here. Hope everyone is having a great weekend and try to be quiet enough not to wake up the whole family. It's not that early anymore. I'm usually up pretty early, so what are you gonna do? And I'll just, I'm gonna put this up here, and then I'm gonna like do this, and here we go. Anyway, um, it's been it's been an interesting week this week. Back to work. Back to work. I had a week of conference and travel. Not my usual travel. I had I had the kind of travel that airplane people do when they fly to somewhere else, and it's interesting because I've done the drive a few times. I've done the airplane a few times, and I do a lot of driving, as most people know. Trucker isn't just my last name; it's my vocation. So, um, I spent a fair bit of time at this conference talking to many of my peers who also live with obesity, and also a lot of medical professionals, which was pretty cool. Um, at the conference, we bring in the organization I volunteer with, which I don't own. When I say we, and they don't necessarily support anything and everything I say. My opinions are my own. I don't know if I have to say that for legal reasons, but I don't want to drag them into anything they don't want to be a part of. They've been very supportive of me in getting my thoughts and opinions out to medical professionals, and I've been having chats with them about doing more of that. Um, and I think one thing I'd like to point out is that I'm very privileged that I'm in the mental space to express myself. And I had a very brief text chat with one of the people there who was helping me deal with the administration of having been at the conference. But I also took the opportunity to thank them for letting me be a part of it and explain to them what I get from it. And I'm going to be doing a show soon. I haven't figured out the date and time yet, um, but it may work out well when I have my kidney procedure didn't work. It didn't do enough to break up the stone and bring it out. So my urologist says I'm having another procedure done. So I don't know if anybody will actually be watching this live because this isn't the time I usually do anything. I don't know if it's the time anybody does anything on a Sunday morning. I can't even remember what time it is. I don't know if I brought my phone with me to check this. This thing says it tells me that it's 8:30 Eastern time. So I guess that's kind of early, right? I mean, I don't feel fully awake, even though by this time most workday mornings I'm already well into my day. I'm either across part of the province, or if I'm going into the big city down in Toronto, you can't get very far in a couple hours, especially not with a heavy haul truck. But that's a whole nother story. I'm not going to complain about work, but I did have a couple of interesting runs last week. Nothing went terrible, just a lot of traffic, a lot of slow traffic. But sometimes it's good to get out of your comfort zone and into something that isn't your usual, right? Um, so going to a conference, speaking to people, is something that I have no right to be confident doing. I'm a I've been a construction person, and I've been a trucker. That's that's pretty much it. Um, I think my voice is pretty fucked up right now. Um, so a number of interesting conversations happened at the conference, and I kind of thought I could write some stuff down. I probably will. Um, but what sort of occurred to me is that I haven't had a chance to share it with people, and I know that more than one person that follows me also lives with obesity and other comorbidities. I know that more than one person lives a life where they maybe don't get treated fairly, and so I think it's a good time to get out here and talk about the good things that are happening and some of the thoughts that I've had presented to me that have given me a chance to think more about my advocacy, to think more about what's going right and also what's going wrong. So one of the things that's going right is people at all levels of medical research and delivery are getting a better idea of what it means to be an empathetic person and how to make things better for people like myself. And we actually one of the first conversations I had when I arrived there was with a PhD researcher uh, who is based in the West, who I've met before and worked with before. And she and I were just having a drink. I was drinking a coffee. I think they were having a glass of wine. They were telling me about some research they're doing where they're actually just trying to look at, what are the barriers for someone living with obesity just to leave their home and get it in the community to get medical care, but also just to like go out and have a meal outside their home, go out and do shopping, and just live the kind of life that someone might normally live. Even to get to work might be really hard for some people, and that can sometimes mean that somebody living with obesity is living a life of disability instead of a life of ability, and that's not good, right? That's something that doesn't make your life better, and you would want that to not be the case. You'd want to put some facilities in to help remove those barriers. And so um I had the opportunity to meet with and talk to people at different levels of ability and disability. And I think I think that was really interesting. So I was at different points in my medical um, care, or different things I've had done, procedures, etc. I've been at different levels of mobility, and I've been at different weights, and so there were times in my life when I needed a cane to walk. And now, at the weight I'm at now, I'm still a very large person, but I'm able to work on things that are fairly physically active, and I'm able to do things that maybe people might look at my mass on paper and say, well, that guy can't do that. And there are certainly people of my mass who could not. Body composition is a thing, and we got to talk about that too. So one major message I got from one of the researchers, and I've said this for a long time, is that we got to change the way we talk about measurement of what does it mean to be living with obesity. What does obesity mean? What's a definition of obese or overweight or underweight or even normal or average weight? And there's a push to not use the word normal, which I think we can understand. I'd like to point out that you're all normal. and I'm normal. That's not it's not something that is one thing or another. Um, and maybe the most uncommon thing to be is 100% average. I don't know who that person is, but they're a rare breed. So if you're if you're at the absolute average, put your hand up and say, "Hey, that's me." So BMI is something. So the person that presented on that gave a great talk, and they were introduced by someone else who did a great talk, and I hesitate to name people only because I don't want to associate them with me and my channel and the things that I do here without their express consent. Although I have talked to some people there about coming on my channel to talk about their experiences, and then I had a chance to talk to another friend who is interested in coming on and talking about their experiences that are different than mine, but basically about being able to volunteer, which I think is a great thing. Which I spent most of my life so busy working and running my own business, volunteering wasn't in the cards for me, and volunteering to share my time and to share something that was brought up at the conferences, like who is the bigger expert in living a life with obesity than someone that lives with or has lived with obesity? And so that came up as a concept. But then BMI is an extremely terrible measure for any individual, and it's based on really bullshit. So um, at some point, I'm gonna get their permission. I'll share this, but I'm just gonna say the definition that Obesity Canada uses, and that's the organization I volunteer with. Definition they use. I could look it up and read it out, but I'm not gonna bother doing that. I'm just gonna say what that definition is where excess adipose tissue negatively impacts your life, and that's pretty much it. The ways it could negatively impact you could have to do with comorbidities and having medical issues and disease due to it, or mobility issues, or it could even be just the fact that you're treated like garbage because people don't respect you because they think they know why you are the way you are, which is and that is all not appropriate, but it's common. And just because something does happen doesn't mean it should. And that was a really interesting talk, and I enjoyed that a lot. I enjoyed also that they pointed out a lot of the ways that people living with obesity and overweight are represented in our society. Um, I thought it was a really interesting presentation, and I'll probably get into some of these things. And if people like this, if I think a lot of people won't be watching at this hour, so if you're watching this later and you enjoy the crazy ramblings of Al Trucker, please put a comment in and tell me what kind of content you'd like to see on living with obesity. If you'd like me to talk about some of the presentations that were done at the conference and see if I can get some of the graphics and get permission from those people to maybe use their names and link to their research, or um, should I try to find their images and stuff, and not of them but the ones that they present. But I can just talk about the way things are, and maybe people comment on things they've noticed. One thing I've noticed, and still people I know do this, and I don't stop conversations every time. Sometimes I do. I've decided I can't do it every time because it's so common. It would just interrupt the flow. But we're so used to using words like fat along with piece of shit and other bullshit like that to describe people. And people that are assholes do come in all shapes and sizes. And so I absolutely am not going to suggest that I'm not going to suggest that we should let people who are overweight or living with obesity, those types of things should not preclude you from criticism. I certainly am not excluded from criticism, but I'd rather that you criticize what's crappy about me than my physical attributes. Hopefully that's reasonable. I don't know if it is or not, but if you're able to do that, I'd appreciate it. Um, and so I've seen a lot of imagery myself, and one of the things that the researcher presented, she did a great job of this, of finding all the instances where the heroes, the good people in a lot of children's stories, things from like Disney, for instance, but also others where the heroes are all slim, fit, muscular. Um, and particularly females are always super slender. Males are like ultra. Male heroes are always ultra fit. They're always presented. No, always isn't the right word. Very frequently, I think, are presented as tall, good looking, great hair, all that kind of stuff. Um, do I resent that? No, I'm short, bald, and not that great looking. Um, and although I'm probably at least as strong as any of those guys, I'm not the body type they're thinking of. Should I be worried about that? Fuck no. I'm me. You get what you get. I hope to improve my health profile by dealing with my excess adipose tissue through surgery, additional diet modification, energy input and export and output are things I need to deal with in a way that works for me. But my metabolic situation isn't cut and dried. None of them are. Once you have metabolic dysregulation or dysfunction, returning it to a normal state is hard. And when you have genetic components, which I'm pretty sure I have, fighting against you, it's very, very difficult. But I want people to notice, and maybe just, this is what I'm asking to comment on. Notice when you see someone use person's size um as a slur, or as a reason to dislike them. And also notice if people presented in media who are of a larger size, ask yourself, is that person being presented in a good light? There was a meme I saw that maybe I should have screenshotted it, but it might be so popular people see it. A lot of people don't like the former president of the United States, and I can understand that. There's a lot of reasons to dislike them, and a lot of people make fun of that person's weight and size. I guess because they just want to go after it, and they want to sort of put the person down. I think maybe that's part of what people want to do now. See, I think that person, there's lots of things to talk about the things they do. Not that guy isn't, I don't think, living with obesity the level I am. Somebody put a picture of that person, I think in celebration of Easter. They put a picture of that former president hung on a cross like Jesus, wearing, I guess, like a diaper or a toga or something. I'm really not sure. It's sort of a weird image. Anyway, but showing that person in a very large body, the body of someone living with obesity, quite debilitating obesity, in fact. And I guess that's meant to poke fun at that person because they eat a lot of hamburgers or something. Um, I feel like it's okay for me to be upset about that, particularly because that's not the body that person actually has, at least the way they're presented. Um, so to me, that it's offensive because they're equating that level of shittiness with having a large or larger body, or a very large body, which is not something that I found to be a common correlation in real life. In fact, I know lots of people that live in a larger body who are better, nicer people than most others I've encountered. And so perhaps um, we have things wrong. Now you're gonna run into people like me that have a chip on our shoulder for sure. You're gonna run into people like me that are they're loud, obnoxious, and ready to knock you out if you cross us because we're fucking tired. And that's a common thing among people that live in a maligned world. And I'm gonna say, hey, like I got my own issues. I got lots of things in my life that aren't right. Um, the things I got to deal with, but um, what makes me a crappy person is not how large my body is or how small it is. It's the choices I make, the things I do, the mistakes I've made. Um, Let me cut down through the bullshit. I think I'm actually not the world's shittiest person. I feel that way sometimes. I'm not always kind to myself, but what I should really do is come out as confident. I should be confident and competent, and I should be ready to face the world, whatever it's got for me. So I'm working on that because every day I owe it to my family to be um, everything I can be. I should be supportive of them in every possible way. Good morning, Dave. Welcome. Welcome. It's good to see you. Hopefully, I didn't wake you up too early. So, and Dave, I don't know if you've been here the whole time. I don't know if the watch counter is actually all that accurate, but it shows two people are here. I've never found it accurate, but you know, I'm glad you're here. Um, Let me know if you want to come on and have a chat. I might do a short conversation with people if they're interested. But if not, I'll just keep on rambling. So, so the imagery we use, this is what one doctor brought to us. The imagery we use isn't kind to us, and I realize I'm standing here in front of my tank girl image. Now, tank girl is not a person who lives in a larger body in the canon of her world that she comes from. So I think it's an appropriate image. Um, and I made this image with AI. It sort of messed up some aspects of the character, but I like this image because it was on the beach with a tank and everything on fire. And I also like that there's a railway crossing light there. I don't know why I like it. I just fucking like it. And it was one of the first times that I was able to get it to make the chrome bikini that I wanted to work with. And I'm hoping I can do some more images using chrome clothing items of all sorts. Um, anyway, this is an image I made a number of months ago, and I just like the way it turned out, even though her face is kind of messed up and from the AI work. But I do realize, I'm presenting someone who's, not living in a larger body as a hero of mine. So should I should I own that? Sure, but that's that character's that's how they look and the way they're drawn um, by their creator. So um, maybe I should invent my own character who lives in a larger body, maybe a couple of them, and have them be heroes, work up against that stereotype. So on top of that, we were talking about what are the barriers. So some of the people that I work with are living in a larger body such that they need additional accommodation just to get around. So, stairs are almost impossible. Now, for me, stairs are not great. And I did find out this week for sure that I have arthritis in my left knee. And I don't think I need to go get another MRI to figure out my right knee's in the same kind of condition. They've been trying to figure out why I have tremendous pain in both of my legs. I have this crazy numbness and tingling in both of my legs, and then I'm getting it checked out. But a lot of the pain seems to be from my muscles compensating for um, joint issues. And I do have some nerve issues that I take medication for. That doesn't make it very easy to move around or to even be in a good mood. But some of my some of my peers that are living with obesity are, using walkers or other mobility devices, and it makes it really hard to get around. And so, I actually was helping one of my peers, just to get to where they could find a washroom that she could use, and also a place to access a room she needed to be in a large, sort of hotel conference facility where there were a lot of stairs because the place was built so long ago. Um, and it meant having to, in a place I wasn't super familiar with, find a path for her and to help her navigate a few stairs and just lift, her walker up and down a couple of spots, which was easy enough to do. I was happy to do that. I'm always happy to help people, but, um, it made me much more aware of what some of the barriers are, and I also tried to take a look at what are the things that I run into. So one thing that's really hard for me to do is find a chair I fit in a lot of places if it has arms on it. And I have a couple of times, this week had to go out and deal with places where I need to sit down for a minute. And when I was at the airport, I realized in the airport on the Toronto side, the only seats that I could fit in were the ones that were marked as being for people who live with a disability. And I think that's interesting. Um, I think people like having arms on their chairs, and I do too if it fits me. I like having an armrest, but when a chair is so tight for me to sit in that it digs into my legs and causes me pain and circulation problems and nerve problems, that's really, um, I feel unwelcome. Um, I feel like the world just wasn't built for me, and I feel like that's okay. There are places that would really rather I don't come. Oh, hey there, top tester. Good to see you. Glad you came. And I see it's good to see Dave. I agree. It is good to see Dave. Um, so yeah, so I was sitting in the disability chairs, the ones that have a little wheelchair on them. Um, I think that's sort of the universal symbol for person living with disability. Even though I think it's understood that canes, walkers, other even if you don't use a device, you can sort of get around. And, so I talked to a bunch of people about this, and other people like me have had to use a cane at certain points and not others. And what was interesting is that more than one person said they find that just carrying around something like that helps them, um, because people just sort of understand they need additional time and help. And if you need the additional time and help, but you're trying to make it without a device, people just don't take seriously what it is you're fighting, even though you're on the edge of that and you're trying your best. Out of in my case, it might just be pride. You know, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure what it is that causes me to leave the cane at home every day, even though sometimes I might need it. Um, but I like to not need it. Um, but sometimes people do better when that's not the case. It sounds like people are waking up in the house, so I'll probably end this in a minute or two here, unless people want to hear more. And I'm gonna try to do my 69 sub special soon. I've gotten over 70 now. And of course I think it would be hilarious to do a 69 sub special, but life's been busy. I'm gonna try to do it when I can have a few people on and just have, sort of a party atmosphere. Because I've been on some specials on other people's channels where they've had on previous guests, and I've been one, and I've been proud to be part of that. Hopefully, anyone that's been on my channel would like to join in that. So because this is kind of like just me rambling on a Sunday morning, I'll wrap this up soon because now that people are up, I'm gonna go hang out with my family a bit. Um, but I guess my main messages are let's think about how we talk to and about people, how they're represented to us, and whether that colors how we think about them. 'Cause I think that's a factor. And then the other thing I'd like to ask people to do is tell me if you want me to do some in-depth presentation of some of the research and stuff. And I am going to try to get a couple of these folks to join me and have a conversation, a serious one, about where are we at? What have we figured out? And what are the treatment modalities that are going to help people that live with obesity the most? But also, like, what are we going to do to help society get to know us and know us as something other than garbage people that are just kind of in the way and not super aesthetically pleasing. Um, that's kind of what I want to get away from. So, like I say, my family's waking up now, so I think it's time for me to go hang out with them. And I want to welcome everybody that came and anybody that comes in the future. I appreciate it. And I know if I was a good YouTuber, I'd ask people to like and share and all that kind of stuff. Lick the like button. Um, and I hope people do like it. I released a new music video this week. I did a premiere. It was kind of a flop. I think it didn't turn out that well, and I think I should have maybe tested it on YouTube. Oh hey, look, Commander made it. And you're in Batavia. That's not that far away from here. Oh yeah, you're going down to Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Nice. All right. Well, Commander, I hope your run is good today. And I don't know if you've been here listening or not, but regardless, I'm wrapping it up because my family woke up and I wanna go hang out with them, have some breakfast. So yeah, if people are listening in the future and you got some comments and thoughts, please share them. I do wanna I do want to get out good positive messages about people living in a larger body and what the medical community is doing for us because I found out a lot about that last week, and I also found out a lot about challenges other folks have that are not my own, but part of the whole group. So thank you to everybody, and you know, keep your stick on the ice, unless you want to get a high sticking penalty. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.